Yes, sir. So realization comes with experience. Only if you lose money, or if you do not have sufficient money to cater to, you tend to realize that I should have done that 10 years ago, or I should have done that couple of years ago. Uh, I see that the trend is changing. A lot of people are looking at their personal finances. Uh, Financial literacy is slightly growing. You could see, as well as in other YouTube channels and Google as well, that if you just type in financial literacy, you get a whole lot of blogs and articles to go through. Now, for a common man who is not well versed in social media, who is not well versed with technology and internet, is there any plan to reach financial literacy to that level?
At an individual level, of course, I do not have any plan. But then, if you ask about what is happening in the industry, then of
Yeah.
course, a lot of things are happening. Almost every institution in India has got the CSR now. They are feeding NGOs. NGOs are moving to tier 2, tier 3 cities. Thereafter, SEBI has given proposal to the AMC to increase the compensation to the distributors who are operating from tier 2, tier 3 cities. That's a very big push because they are getting considerable amount for bringing mobilizing business from tier 2, tier 3 city, and they are the biggest best agent to spread financial literacy in the tier 2, tier 3. So non digital media, or say individually, if I have very limited scope as resource, but there are a structure in place and who are in fact spreading to tier 2, tier 3. In fact, collection of funds from tier 2, tier 3
Okay.
are increasing every year,
Hmm.
month on month and year on year. So it's happening.
Okay. So it is happening, and I hope that the financial literacy grows in the market, and people are made aware of the importance of financial literacy and personal finance. Now, when you add that, there should be a when you learn about financial literacy and personal finance, the first thing which comes to my mind is planning. Right? You need to plan your finances. How do one person plan finance? How should they plan it?
The catchy word for planning is the budget. No, we have every
Yes.
year we our the entire this is big country of 140 crore people,
Yeah.
and what we do is the budgeting. For any planning, you require budgeting.
Right.
Now you ask this question to the individual families who are there around you. How many of us are having monthly budget? You'll say, "Oh, seldom we do this, and we all ad hoc." At the end of the month of day, no, we are not left with the money to save. The problem
True.
is that no, because in absence of budgeting, we break one basic rule. The basic rule is what? Basic rule is that after income, first saving and then expense.
Correct. Yeah.
But what we practice is the after income, first expense and then saving. And the moment you have first expense and then savings, you will be left with no amount to invest and save.
Yes.
No. So inflation is a big issue. People are least bothered about this budgeting and planning, and that is why this everything goes for the toss. What I say is that family is a unit. One person earn, two-person earn, whosoever is earning, they should all have a plan of budget. Budgeting means how much you need to save starts from here, and then remaining what you have to spend. And once you save, then you have to deploy it for gainful purpose, that is investment. So savings and investments are linked, and that is should be planned earlier, budgeted earlier, and then everything will fall in line. Nothing will be then.
Okay. So you brought out a topic called investment. Okay. How important is investment as a subject?
I will say from my experience is that investment as subject is the most sought after topic in the entire, I will say literacy word, in the literacy word where actually where academia word and all we are discussing about. See, I recall my childhood days. I used to purchase milk at 2 rupees 20 paisa per liter.
Okay.
Today's price is now 60
Yeah.
rupees, 50
Yeah.
rupees
Yeah.
and all you all.
Right.
Now what is this is called inflation.
Okay.
Inflation means either two things, either rise in the price of a commodity
Hmm.
or decline in the purchasing power of money. Both means same, but two
Hmm.
way to represent the inflation.
Hmm.
Let people realize that if they do not save today, if they do not invest today, tomorrow nobody will take them out away from the inflation concept. Inflation will hit them back. Today you are 25, 30, 35, 40. You have a capacity, you have a strength, you can earn and can learn. You can earn and of course you can live.
Yes.
But what will happen when you are 60? You have a lesser strength. Only money will come for your rescue if you have resource capital money at that point of time, what we call retirement planning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then it will take care of your retirement that point. So people do not understand this impact of inflation on their personal finance. They
Hmm.
are not able to calculate this. Computation part is extremely poor,
Right.
and that is the reason it does not in fact even begin. you should always think of investment is a long-term process. It's a
Yeah.
strategic in nature.
Mm.
So realization in the mind has to be there. Otherwise, indiscipline will happen. You will break the amount. You will stop the
Correct.
running, and then you will not be able to do that. So
Okay.
realize and then start investing. That investment will be for a longer term, and then only you can realize the goals of your financials.
Okay. So long-term investment is something which everybody should plan and start investing from the initial days of their career, is what you said. We must also think or create awareness of investment in the uh, non-IT segment or non-professionals, I would say. Say the other areas of work, such as your government sectors, and we should also try to invest. I mean, help create investment in the below poverty lines, where they have a day earning, where they earn few hundreds per day. So we have to start creating that. I think government has a plan or a scheme which I am not aware. But if you have to improve the overall GDP of India, I think everybody should start investing and save money. That will take us somewhere. Now, what are the destination for investment? What are the best areas where we should invest?
Yeah. So about destination of investment is a very, very big subject. But before I come to destination, let me tell you what government is doing, the
Yeah.
way, in fact, you have
Yes,
asked for.
please. Yes, please.
One of the program that government has launched a couple of years back was NPS, New Pension Scheme. I think that is one of the best way through which you are inculcating the society about investments and the long-term financial planning. NPS has really brought everybody into its ambit to say, look here, you have to save today. You have to save compulsorily, and thereafter, this will be when you are 60, you can withdraw a part of that to take care of your retirement process. So, investment planning, retirement planning, tax planning, and all are merged in one concept, and that is the NPS. That's a very fantastic concept. We'll discuss this about in some other day.
Yes, definitely.
Now, about the destination of investment, no, where you can invest. It depends upon individual risk appetite. How much risk you can take with your money. Now, you will say why the risk word has come? Because risk means uncertainty. People perceive risk to be a loss. No, risk is not loss. Risk in finance means uncertainty. Whenever you invest, there's the element of uncertainty attached to that. So we say your every investment is subject to the risk. That is called market risk. I will say, no, 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 no. If I invest in post office or in bank, there's no risk. I get 5%, 7%, 8%. That's a fixed. No, that 7%, 8% is the nominal income that you get. But in reality, the real income is nominal income minus inflation. Inflation is subject to the market region, so it
Ah,
fluctuates 4%, 4.5%, 5%. So your
okay.
real income, even in fixed income securities, also vary. That is uncertainty.
Hmm.
So the bottom line is that whenever you are using a word investment, it's the long term, and then there's the uncertainty. So there will be a word called risk.
Okay.
So everybody has to take risk. Some people will take lesser risk, means
Ah,
lesser uncertainty. So
that,
they should go into post office, they should go into bank, they should go into any
hmm.
deposit schemes. Deposit word is different and
Yeah.
fixed income is different. Fine. So these are the area where they can go if they are asking for a little lesser risk, lesser uncertainty.
Okay.
But then with this lesser income, very difficult to realize your financial goals, which is a too big now.
Yeah.
So you have to move to the new concept that is called equity. Equity is a new concept for the masses, I can say, but it's a very, very old concept of raising capital and realizing gain out of the market operations.
Yeah. Yeah.
So equity, but equity is having little more uncertainty. I'm using the word uncertainty in again. So equity has got more uncertainty. So you have to learn to invest in equity. Equity can be learned through many tutorial classes,
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
many experienced mentors around you. You
Hmm.
can invest in equity directly also and through portfolio also. It's a big subject. Then we'll come into mutual fund other area. So these are the basic area
Hmm.
actually where you should invest.
Okay. So when it comes to investments, you mentioned about equity. So what are the uh, I would say challenging investment destinations we should be made aware of?
Challenges about equity is about your financial ability and literacy. How much appetite? Normally, people make mistake is that no,
Hmm.
that they do not understand their financial risk and they go into equity. Now, in equity, you have a different graded of equity risk. Like suppose if you are going into portfolio,
Yeah.
mutual fund portfolio, it is less risky. If you go into the PMS, that's a portfolio management service, a
Hmm.
portfolio, little more risky. You
Yeah.
go into AIF, alternate investment product, it's even more risky. You say, no, 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 I'm going directly into a stock market and buying a stock through my demat accounts and all. it becomes even more risky. If you say, no, I go into the market and then deal in derivatives, that's a
Yeah.
much riskier. And then you say, I'm going into market and equity and dealing in the global equity, that's a even much riskier.
It's
So there's
great.
a grade of risk in the equity. It
Right.
depends upon the person's understanding about equity, his risk appetite of the equity, and thereafter he can decide which type of instruments of equity and the product of equity
Mm.
suits to.
Okay. Moreover, it starts with the budget, right? So only if you have sufficient budget, then you should invest yourself in those particular uh, risk segments which you can afford, right? So yeah, risk is something which should be uh, made aware of before you start investing. That's why you have a lot of investment declarations. Before you invest, kindly go through the terms and conditions and then the risk factor, and then invest. Yeah. So I have few more questions for you. Now, yeah, one thing which you mentioned here is the PMS and other equity areas. So, what are the best stock market options you have when it comes to equity? If one has to start their career or sorry, in the journey in investments, what are the best stock market options?
Best stock market options. Now, in a stock market, you can do two things. One is you can go fundamental. That's a long-term investment. What we say, basically, you are buying and holding it for long. That is one way of approaching a stock market.
Uh-huh.
The second is that you are buying and selling it. That's a trading. So
Mm-hmm.
if you have a long-term vision, you will be learning the fundamental analysis and then deciding a stock which can really give you good return in a longer tenor. So buy and hold is the strategy over there. But
Mm-hmm.
if you feel that I can trade, I can tactically approach the market. When market goes up, you have a sense of market going up and down. That sense is very difficult to say that I know it, but still, if you have a sense of that, then you can trade in the market. These two are two different subjects. I have seen people who are losing money also in long term. There's no doubt a lot of company has run away from the market and people have lost money. So
Mm-hmm.
even if you go for long term, you may lose money. There's no doubt about that. And even in
Mm-hmm.
short term, if you are trading, you can lose money. So both the places people have lost and both the places people have made money.
Okay.
But it's largely felt that if you are investing in a stock, you should be prudent enough. You should be always regularly updating yourself, because stock behavior is an
Mm-hmm.
individual and we call it an
Yeah.
unsystematic risk.
Right.
No, a very famous disclaimer is there in the market whenever you are going to the market. Investment in a market is subject to market risk. Please
Yes.
read our document carefully, carefully. No, so it is
Yeah.
there. So one should always update himself,
Right.
upgrade himself. Then only he should go into the stock market,
Okay.
whether he is going for investing or trading.
Okay. So your opinion on stock market?
It's a good, no doubt. It contributes to the GDP. It contributes to the capital growth. It's contributed to the overall country and individual. But then it's risky for those who does not understand that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is the bigger catch.
Right. There are so many online platforms, like we have Zerodha, we have Funds India, we have Kotak, others. They have a small segment for tutorials where they teach how to invest, what are the risk factors, but they're not elaborate. That's why we have the financial influencers in YouTube and other podcast channels where they tend to showcase that where to invest and whatnot. Do you have any comment on the financial investors on social media?
Yeah, I have a very small comment. You understand, one thing is that
Yeah.
if there's any aggregator or any platform before you,
Hmm.
they are for some primary purpose of business. For them, educating you is a secondary purpose.
Right.
So if they come with certain content over there, that is for the purpose of you upgrading your knowledge if you have basics in place.
Right. Hmm.
So that will not be always complete one. That could be always an asset and say added advantage to you, but that is not a complete one.
Right.
Part two, if you go to the social media, you will find a lot of things are there content, but they are all spread and then broken in different bits and
Bits and
pieces.
pieces.
Thing is that no, it can give you a lot of information, but will not be able to give you knowledge. Knowledge is different. Information is different. A systematic A to Z information will become knowledge because you can use that for some gainful purpose. So if you are approaching social media, if you're approaching different platform, you will have a lot of informations, but systematically have to adopt it to make it into a knowledgeable
Okay.
So education literacy should be knowledge oriented, and then upgrading in market is an information oriented.
Mm-hmm.
Platform will do very good justice with your information upgradation, but they do little lesser justice with the knowledge upgradation, knowledge accumulation. That you have to, in fact, I will suggest if for your audience is that
Yeah.
there is a body called NISM, National Institute of Security Market. That's basically academic arm of SEBI. SEBI is
Right.
the regulator of capital market. They
Okay.
have come up with 22, 23 different modules of investment.
Okay.
Anybody who is adult enough or a student, in fact, also of any stream, he should bring those books. Books are readily available on the Google and otherwise on their website. Read it. You can appear in the examination to get a certificate. You may not appear. That's okay, fine. But the standard practice of learning in the book from A to Z is the best way to accumulate the knowledge.
Market. Okay.
Information will come
Okay.
handy to you when you are entering into
All
the
right.
market.
The next question, yeah, it's a very interesting subject. Stock market is a very elaborate one, and then again, the the methods of choosing investments is left to the individual. We cannot enforce the individual to do a particular kind of investments.